this is just fun. Great golf stories. Can I tell you a quick story?
I would love to. Let me reset. Rick Reilly here on the Rich Eisen Show. So Help Me Golf, While We Love the Game is the name of the new book. Just in time for Father's Day. You mentioned about giving it to your dad, so that's right around the corner. You have the floor.
These are 80 stories. So I should hate golf. My dad was a drunk golfer, came home violent, broke my mom's nose. We would all hide. We thought golf caused the hell in our lives. But then when I was 11, my brother took me to the range, and it was so much fun, and there was nobody drinking, and guys' dads were there, and they weren't drunk, and I had this probably unhealthy love of the game after that.
Okay.
And so for 40 years, I've been collecting stories that I think you're going to love about golf and the people. Some are emotional, but a lot are just really great. For instance, at Lahinch in Ireland, there's a blind par 3. Now, people in America never heard of this, but you can't see the green. You hit it over the hill and hope there's a green there. And in 1997, 4 people, all Americans, made holes in one on this par 3. They couldn't even see the flag.
What's the distance?
Or the green.
What's the mileage?
I think it was 162.
Okay.
So it was the greatest statistical anomaly in the history of golf, maybe in sports itself.
Right.
That night in the Lahinch bar, it's fantastic. And the bartender's just making Guinnesses left and right, because in golf, you have to buy each other a drink.
Of course.
Everybody in the bar gets a free drink. And he's making, and there's caddies in there that shouldn't be in there, and the townspeople are in there, and it's just madness. And the waitress is making her whole rent in a single month, and everything's fantastic until the bartender's wife comes through the front door holding the ear of their 6-year-old son. And she drags him behind the bar. And she says, "You tell your dad what you were doing this fine day, you little rascal." And he goes, "Oh, I was putting balls in the hole." He was hiding behind a tree, and a ball would come over, and he'd run out, put it in the hole, hide back behind the tree, just so he could see 60-year-old white guys going crazy and ripping off their shirts like Brandy Chastain and riding each other like ponies. And it just, man, he thought it was the greatest thing ever. And so the bartender's looking at his kid, and the wife's looking at the bartender, and she's like, "Aren't you going to say anything to the lad?" And he goes, "Yes, good job." So there's four people in America that have holes in one at Lahinch that don't know they don't have them.
That is amazing.
That's the kind of story that's in there. Because where's that going to fit in an SI piece or ESPN piece?
Nothing. No. I love that, man. That is great. What is the, I guess, most unique course you've ever played, heard of? You want to?
Well, I went around the world once, and I'd like to tell Kyrie Irving this.
Yeah.
I started in Denver, and I flew east. They let me go around the world for a month. Remember when journalism had money?
Yes.
They had so much money. And so I said, well, hell, I'll spend some money. And I went around the world playing the most unforgettable holes in the world. And I collected them. But when I got back, Mulvoy quit. You remember Mulvoy, and now the new guy was a tennis guy, and he didn't want it. So I've been sitting on this. So me and my buddies, we go to the course and say, "Hey, he's writing a book about the 18 most unforgettable. Could we play your course?" And they're like, yes. So we had free golf for 20 years on this deal. But there's a hole in South Africa where you got to hit over alligators. There's a hole in New Mexico that's 3 miles long and it's 50 feet around.
Okay.
There's an underwater hole in the Caribbean. But my point to Kyrie Irving is, I flew east and kept flying east, and I ended up back in Denver. How did that happen?
It's wild. It's almost as if the planet is round. What do you mean an underwater hole? What are you talking about?
In the Caribbean, you hit your shot, and the balls are weighted, and you scuba dive down, and then you finish out the hole.
That sounds very involved.
It's fantastic. Can I tell you one more quick story?
I imagine you're not measuring your putt, like you're not sitting there waiting for somebody to like figure out where the putt breaks.
Yeah, there's no honors. Just before the shark comes, get it in.
Yeah, hit when ready.
Right.
Hit when ready.
Here's a true story. Okay. Also, I mean, they're all true. This guy, this pilot, Air Force pilot, 1965 Vietnam, gets shot down into North Vietnam, goes into the Hanoi Hilton, the worst prison in all of North Vietnam. He's in a 6-foot by 7-foot cell. I saw it. Dark. There's no windows. His name was Colonel George Hall from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. He finds a stick. He's in isolation for 4 years.
Yes.
Family thinks he's dead. The U.S. Army, Air Force thinks he's dead. He finds a stick and he starts playing golf every morning. Kisses his wife, gets in the car, drives through the streets of Hattiesburg, waves to the guy that runs the used car lot, waves to the grocery lady, pulls in, kids with the shoe shine guy, puts on his spikes, gets to the first tee with his 3 buddies, swings the stick. Well, he was a pretty good college player, so he paces off, say, 255 yards for his drive. Now he's looking at it. That's about an 8-iron, 135 yards, hits the 8-iron, paces that off. Now he's got a 25-foot putt, played like that every day, shot even par, went home, waved at everybody in town, in his mind. For 4 years, he did this every single day, always at his club. He was finally released, 102 pounds. He left at 180.
Jeez.
He comes to the podium at Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and the whole town's waiting for him, right? And he's about to give this speech that he's been thinking about, but suddenly he sees the grocery store lady, and he sees the used car guy, and he sees the shoe shine guy, and he sees his buddy, and he starts crying. And he finally gets out, you people, this game saved my life because I was able to leave the cell. And I had so many people I knew in prison who died, just went mad. And so that's what I mean about this book. Golf, because I was pretty much raised by my brother, because I didn't really have a dad and my mom was sickly. Golf really raised me and it became my family. And so that's why this book is sort of my Valentine to that family of golf, which I know it's not for everybody, but believe me, it really was woven through the fabric of my life.